In an increasingly connected world, the internet has become the stage for some of the most sophisticated crimes in history. While most people use technology to make life easier, there are those who see it as a challenge, a territory to be explored, manipulated, and often dominated. Some of these individuals have achieved impressive feats, bypassing security systems that were supposed to be impenetrable, challenging governments and major corporations, and even putting the entire world on alert. But who are these enigmatic figures who, from behind a screen, managed to change the game? What drove these hackers to carry out such bold attacks, and how did their actions impact both the digital and real world? Hello, restless minds. I'm Code, and this is Discover It, where curiosity knows no limits. Subscribe and help the channel grow, because every time you like, comment, or share, you're helping us bring these discoveries to more people. Together, we can create a community where curiosity can change the world. And now, without further ado, let's get into the video. In the 90s, radio was still one of the main sources of entertainment and information for millions of people. Amid this landscape, the Los Angeles-based KISS FM station launched a seemingly simple promotion. The 102nd caller to reach the station would win a Porsche. What was supposed to be a fair and random contest turned into one of the most famous cases of digital intrusion of the time. The mastermind behind it? Kevin Poulsen, a talented hacker who saw technology as an opportunity to manipulate the outcome in his favor. 90s folks, a time of cassette tapes, video rental stores, and hackers rigging radio contests? That's right, buckle up for this story because it's straight out of a movie. Using his knowledge of telephony, Poulsen managed to intercept all calls made to the radio station, blocking any that were not his. This ensured that his own number was the 102nd to be answered, winning the prize without anyone suspecting, at least at that moment. However, his feat did not go unnoticed for long. When authorities realized the interference in the telephone system, they quickly launched an investigation to track down the culprit. The search for Kevin Poulsen lasted several years, as he knew how to hide both in the digital world and beyond. During that time, he continued hacking into telephone networks and government systems, gaining more and more notoriety in the underground world of technology. However, in 1991, after being featured on a TV program covering cybercrimes, his name and face were widely publicized. Shortly after, he was captured by the FBI. Upon trial, Poulsen was sentenced to 51 months in prison and was also prohibited from using computers and accessing the internet for a long period after his release. This restriction, imposed by a court, reflected the authorities' fear of his abilities. If at the time he was already capable of manipulating entire communication systems, what could he do with advancing technology? After serving his sentence, Kevin Poulsen took a different path. He abandoned illegal hacking and started working in the cybersecurity field, becoming an expert in protecting against cyber attacks. Today, he is a senior editor at a respected technology and security website, proving that even those who break the rules can find legitimate ways to use their knowledge. But deep down, has he really left his past behind? In 1999, commercial internet was still taking its first major steps, and digital security was not as advanced as it is today. In this scenario, Raphael Gray, a young man of just 19 years old, decided to challenge the limits of online protection. From his bedroom, using a regular computer, he accomplished what many thought impossible: hacking into the websites and systems of major companies and stealing thousands of confidential pieces of information. Among his main targets were online stores, where he gained access to more than 6,500 credit card numbers belonging to people worldwide. Unlike other hackers who sold data on the black market, Gray had a different objective. He wanted to prove that digital security was flawed and that anyone with enough knowledge could exploit it. To reinforce his message, he created 2 websites where he published all the stolen information, publicly exposing credit card details. Among the names on the list, one caught the world's attention: Bill Gates, one of the richest men on the planet. Gray's audacity didn't stop there. To mock the situation, he allegedly used the billionaire's own data to send a box of Viagra to his address as a direct provocation. This bold move quickly spread his name among authorities investigating cybercrimes. From that moment on, the young hacker became one of the most wanted criminals of the time. But did he really believe he would get away with it? After months of investigation, Raphael Gray was tracked down and arrested with the help of the FBI and UK law enforcement. During the trial, his defense argued that he had no intention of profiting from the crimes, only exposing digital security flaws. However, the court did not consider this a valid justification and sentenced him to 3 years in prison. Even without causing direct financial losses by using the credit cards, he had violated laws and put thousands of people's privacy at risk. Today, Raphael Gray is no longer involved in illegal activities, and like other hackers who gained notoriety, he now works in cybersecurity. His case became one of the most iconic examples of how the internet, despite being a powerful tool, can be used in unexpected ways. But to what extent can someone challenge the system without facing consequences? During the 1990s, US government systems already had a high level of security, but they were not yet prepared to deal with the new generation of hackers emerging at the time. It was in this scenario that Matthew Bevan and Richard Price, two young Britons, decided to challenge one of the most powerful governments in the world. Between 1994 and 1996, the duo achieved something remarkable. They hacked into US military networks, including the Pentagon and strategic air bases. What started as a digital exploration experiment quickly became a major concern for the authorities. Bevan and Price not only gained access to confidential US government documents, but they also intercepted classified messages from North Korea. For the United States, this action was a red alert. If the North Koreans discovered that their systems were being monitored, they could interpret it as an offensive act by the US itself, potentially triggering a diplomatic or even military conflict. The boldness of these two hackers led their actions to be classified as one of the most serious cyber intrusions of the time. Authorities feared that they were attempting to steal military information to sell to other nations, something that could compromise global security. However, throughout the investigation, it was revealed that Bevan and Price were not spies or typical criminals. In fact, they were just young enthusiasts fascinated by the world of technology, testing the limits of digital security. Even so, their actions did not go unpunished. After months of being monitored by the US government and British intelligence, the duo was arrested and interrogated. The charges were serious and could have led to long prison sentences. However, due to their age and the fact that they had not caused direct damage or leaked critical information, they did not receive harsh penalties. Still, their case served as a warning to governments worldwide. Cybersecurity needed to evolve quickly. Today, Bevan and Price are no longer involved in illegal activities, but their actions left a lasting mark on cybersecurity history. They proved that even without advanced resources, it was possible to challenge systems considered impenetrable. If two young hackers managed to break into highly protected military networks, what could prevent others from doing the same today? Now, with even more advanced technologies? In the early 2000s, the internet was rapidly growing and major technology companies dominated the digital market. However, during this period, a young Canadian known as Mafia Boy showed the world the true power of cyber attacks. His real name was Michael Kaus, and he was only 15 years old when he launched one of the most devastating attacks ever recorded, taking down sites like Yahoo, CNN, eBay, Amazon, and Dell. The method used by Mafia Boy was a denial-of-service attack, DDoS, a technique that overloads servers with a massive influx of simultaneous requests, making them inaccessible. To execute this, he created a network of zombie computers controlling infected systems without their owners knowing. Using this digital army, he coordinated attacks that paralyzed some of the biggest websites in the world for hours, causing millions of dollars in damages. But What could have motivated a teenager to challenge the giants of technology? For those who don't know, a DDoS attack is basically flooding a website with fake visits until it crashes. Like when everyone tries to buy concert tickets at the same time, and boom, nothing works. At first, Mafia Boy's attacks seemed like a simple prank, a demonstration of power over the digital world. However, his actions caught the attention of the FBI and Canadian authorities, who launched an investigation to find the person responsible for the attacks. It didn't take long for them to trace the activity back to the young hacker who was eventually arrested and tried for cybercrimes. Despite the severity of the case, his age was a key factor in preventing him from receiving a harsh sentence. After being convicted, Michael Kals spent a few years away from the tech world, but his story was far from over. Over time, he left illegal hacking behind and began working in cybersecurity, helping companies protect themselves against attacks like the ones he had once executed. His knowledge of vulnerabilities and defense systems made him a sought-after expert by major corporations looking to prevent future threats. The case of Mafia Boy showed the world that even without access to vast resources, a single hacker could cause massive damage to global companies. His story served as a wake-up call for the future of cybersecurity. After all, if a teenager was able to take down some of the biggest websites on the internet, what could prevent even more sophisticated attacks in the future? In 2004, as the internet was becoming an essential tool in people's daily lives, a young hacker named Jensen James Anchetta began experimenting with a new form of cyber attack. Unlike other hackers who sought notoriety or confidential information, Anchetta had a specific goal: to create a massive network of infected computers and sell them as a digital force under his control. Thus, he became one of the first hackers to commercialize the concept of botnets, a system of compromised machines that could be used for various malicious purposes. Using viruses he developed himself, Anchetta managed to infect more than 500,000 computers worldwide. Many of these machines belonged to large companies, internet providers, and even the United States military. By taking control of these networks, he began selling his digital army to anyone willing to pay, allowing third parties to use his bots to take down websites, steal data, or launch massive attacks while remaining untraceable. This business became highly profitable, and for a while, Anchetta seemed untouchable. But controlling such a large network of computers did not go unnoticed. Authorities began noticing unusual traffic patterns on the internet, and after a series of investigations, they traced the activity back to Anchetta. He was secretly monitored for months, while agents gathered enough evidence to arrest him. In 2005, an FBI operation led to his capture, dismantling his botnet and exposing the full extent of his activities. Jensen James Anchetta's trial was a milestone in cybersecurity history. He became the first hacker to be convicted for creating and selling botnet networks. As a result, he was sentenced to 60 months in prison and fined $60,000. Although this amount was relatively small compared to the money he had earned, the sentence sent a clear message: governments would not tolerate this type of cybercrime. Since then, Anchetta's case has served as a warning in the fight against cybercrime. His arrest helped expose the importance of online security and protection against malware. But even with his conviction, botnets did not disappear. On the contrary, his idea evolved, and to this day, massive networks of infected computers continue to be used for various online attacks. Will technology ever be able to fully protect itself against this type of threat? In 2008, the world of cybersecurity was stunned when a 17-year-old New Zealand teenager was identified as the mastermind behind one of the largest cybercrime schemes of the time. His name was Owen Walker, and despite having no formal training in programming, he managed to develop one of the most sophisticated cyber attack systems ever recorded. His skills even impressed specialists, and his case gained attention not only for its financial impact, but also for the fact that he acted entirely alone. Walker created an advanced malware, a type of malicious software capable of silently infiltrating computers without users noticing. With it, he infected thousands of machines worldwide, forming a covert network used for bank fraud and financial crimes. It is estimated that his actions caused approximately $26 million in damages, affecting individuals, corporations, and even financial institutions. The most impressive part? He didn't use conventional techniques copied from other hackers. He developed his own code, making his attacks even harder to detect. Imagine a thief who breaks into your house, steals everything, and even waves at the security camera before leaving. That's basically what Walker's virus did. The investigation into his activities began when banks and major corporations noticed suspicious transactions and unusual internet traffic patterns. Authorities soon realized that these attacks were not the work of an organized group, but of a single person. After tracking the servers used to coordinate the intrusions, the FBI and New Zealand police were able to locate Walker and arrest him. But how do you punish a teenager who, despite his crimes, had undeniable programming talent? Unlike other hackers who were sentenced to long prison terms, Owen Walker did not receive jail time. He pleaded guilty and cooperated with authorities, which directly influenced his sentencing. As a result, he was released with no criminal record, but he received an unexpected offer to use his skills for good. Companies and security agencies invited him to work as a cybersecurity expert, helping to prevent the very attacks he had once executed with mastery. Owen Walker's case is a clear example of the power that knowledge in technology can have, both for crime and for cybersecurity. His story raises an interesting question. How many other talented hackers are out there, invisible to authorities, testing the limits of online security right now? Unlike most famous hackers, whose identities were revealed after their capture, Astra remained a mystery. This was the codename of a Greek hacker whose true identity was never publicly disclosed. What is known is that he was 58 years old when he was arrested and that his actions compromised one of the largest military industries in the world. His target was Dassault Group, a French company specializing in the manufacture of combat aircraft and advanced defense systems. Astra not only hacked into Dassault servers, but he also managed to steal detailed weapons designs, including 3D models and highly classified technical specifications. These documents contain sensitive information about military aircraft, including fighter jets that were being sold to various national armies. With this material, he started a black market operation, selling the classified information to unknown clients worldwide. The impact of his actions was massive, with estimates indicating that he made around $361 million from selling the stolen designs. We're not talking about just some hacker stealing Wi-Fi passwords. This guy got his hands on combat aircraft designs. Total spy movie villain level. The breach in Dassault's systems went undetected for years. Authorities only began to suspect something was wrong when highly classified documents started appearing in underground forums. This prompted the company to launch a secret investigation to trace the source of the leak. After a long process of digital tracking, they finally identified the hacker's location, a modest apartment in Athens, Greece. When the Greek police, in cooperation with international security agencies, finally raided the location and arrested Astra, the world was shocked. Many expected to find a young computer genius, but instead, they discovered an experienced man who had spent decades studying technology and digital security. His level of expertise was so advanced that some specialists believe he could have worked as an intelligence analyst if he had been on the right side of the law. Despite his arrest, Astra's case remains shrouded in mystery. To this day, no one knows for sure who purchased the stolen information, nor whether he acted alone or was part of a larger espionage network. Moreover, his real name has never been revealed to the public, leaving many unanswered questions. Was he just a lone hacker seeking profit, or was he part of a much larger scheme involving governments and military corporations? In recent years, few hackers have reached the level of notoriety of Yevgeny Mikhailovich Bogachev, better known by the codename Slavic. Unlike many cybercriminals who end up in prison or disappear without a trace, Slavic is still at large and is considered the most wanted hacker in the world. He rose to fame for developing one of the most powerful viruses in internet history. Zeus, a malware capable of infecting computers on a massive scale, stealing banking credentials, and allowing remote control of devices without users noticing. Zeus was responsible for a global cyber attack, infecting more than 1 million computers and enabling Slavic and his group to steal over $100 million. The sophistication of the virus amazed cybersecurity experts, as it could disguise itself within operating systems, making detection extremely difficult. Additionally, Slavic developed enhanced versions of the malware, making it increasingly effective and resistant to removal attempts. But what was his true goal? Was it just financial theft, or was there something much bigger at play? Investigations into Slavic revealed that his influence extended beyond conventional cybercrime. U.S. authorities began suspecting that he had direct ties to the Russian government, using his vast network of infected computers to gather classified information and conduct cyber espionage. In 2016, there were indications that he may have played a key role in cyber attacks linked to the U.S. elections, further increasing the FBI's interest in capturing him. But catching a hacker as skilled as Slavic is no easy task. It is believed that he is under the protection of Russian authorities who use his expertise as a secret digital weapon against other nations. This theory gained traction when the FBI announced a $3 million reward for information leading to his arrest, making him the most valuable hacker on the International Cybercriminal Wanted list. So far, no concrete clues about his whereabouts have been uncovered. Slavic represents a new kind of cyber threat. Hackers who do not operate just for profit, but also as strategic tools in conflicts between nations. If one individual was able to compromise financial systems and potentially be used as a digital spy, what else might be happening behind the scenes of global cyber warfare? The stories of these hackers show that the digital world is not as secure as it seems. Banking systems, military networks, and even tech giants have all been targeted by individuals who, in many cases, acted alone and with limited resources. Some of these names became infamous criminals, others were recruited to help strengthen cybersecurity, and some are still at large, challenging authorities and leaving invisible traces across the internet. But one thing is certain, they have forever changed the way we perceive online security. With the advancement of technology, new threats emerge every day. And if today we are talking about hackers from the past and present, are there already new names operating in the shadows, creating even more sophisticated systems and breaking barriers we can't even imagine? If history has taught us anything, it's that in the game of cybersecurity, no one is truly safe. If you enjoyed this journey of discoveries, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, and comment below what caught your attention the most. Maybe others will relate, and we can start a great discussion. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more content where curiosity knows no limits.